What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something completely different than I've been doing. Usually I stick to like video games and like tier lists sometimes. But today I'm going to be doing something different. All right, we're going to be discussing shows, specifically anime shows. I've been watching anime since 2015. You might not believe it, but I've been watching anime for ever since I was like in I think I was in middle school. I got into anime, and I was never really one of those kids that like dressed up in Halloween. I was an anime character, or I was like running through the halls with like anime T-shirts and stuff. I was never one of those kids. I kind of kept it on the DL. I think most people don't even know I watch anime as much as I do. Um, but yeah, I've been watching since like 2015. But technically before that, if you count Dragon Ball Z, but that's not really what I'd call like an anime. It's kind of like something like more of a cartoon, very easy accessible. But I've been really deep diving into anime since I'd say about 2015, and yeah, I've watched some pretty terrible shows in a day. I've always liked the goofy, not too serious, dark shows. I like that in most content that I watch in terms of like entertainment is like I like the goofier side of stuff that don't take themselves too seriously. So that's why I kind of like lean more towards like anime than probably most live action shows because live action shows typically take like a serious and dark tone to their shows. So I would kind of lean towards anime if I want something like kind of goof off and laugh at, something easy to watch. But yeah, I've been recording my anime I've been watching on my anime list for about since April 16th, 2020. I have it pulled up right now. I've been watching anime for or been recording my anime I've been watching since then. I think I've had about every show I've ever watched on here, about 169 shows or shows, OVAs, and movies all lumped into that. But yeah, I've been watching anime for quite a while, and I just wanted to go over some of the worst ones I've watched because there's some pretty bad ones. I'd like to give my takes on them and why I think they're bad. And I don't know, maybe I'll enjoy this type of content. I might do something else with live action movies and stuff like of that nature. Cause I also have an IMDb account that I'd like to go over, but we're just gonna go through some of the trash anime I've watched and give my opinions on it and why I think they're trash. And I don't think there's going to be very many hot takes in here because I think these shows are probably like objectively, bad. But I want to kind of go over and give my takes on why I think they're bad. All right, guys, I'm on my anime list. Down to the bottom here, I have it lit filtered by top to bottom. We're gonna start off with I think a show that probably most people know about, and they all agree. I think we can all agree that this show is absolute garbage. But it's like one of those it's one of those like so bad it's good type of shows. Like Hametsu no Mars of Destruction is the English title of it. Is just like it's only 20 well how long is it? Like 24 minutes. It's an OVA. 19 minutes. It's a 19-minute OVA and it is just full of like the most goofiest and like terrible animated shit I've ever seen in my life. This came out in 2005. Um so it hasn't aged well to begin with, but like you take the fact that like this studio, I don't know where all their budget went, if they had any at all, but like this is the most like terribly animated. Like it almost seems like a joke. It seems like a parody almost of like how bad it actually is. I'll take y'all through some scenes and just kind of show y'all what I'm talking about. Like this animation is absolutely terrible.
3体目を確認。応援が行きます。持ちこたえて。
So yeah, it's pretty rough around the edges, and the plot doesn't even really make any sense. Like I'm looking at the synopsis here, and like they're talking about like so ancients, so they're like ancients, like aliens, I guess, come down to Earth. They're like taking out the human race. And like the end is like the biggest like out of nowhere freaking plot twist where like the enemies, the ancients, are actually like ancient humans, and the humans today are the ones who kicked them off Earth.
忘れるな。お前、言葉を話すのか。この星を侵略したのは貴様たちなのだ。俺 俺たちこそ地球人。火星人を死滅させたウイルスで解放された。
or something like that. It was like so stupid, and like the main character is like barely even relevant in the show. Like it was just, or it's not even a show. It's just an episode. Like I don't know if y'all want to watch some like goofy crap. This show is pretty nice about it. Like, or a good thing to watch because it's only 19 minutes. It's just like the most stupid and like terribly written. I don't even know what to even explain. Like, I think most people can agree. I think the only people keeping this at a 2 out of 10 is the people who are like kind of like trolling. But like this show, I think everyone can agree is like absolute the bottom of the bottom when it comes to like everything a show a show needs to be good. Um, so yeah, I can't even pronounce it. Hamitsu no Mars is pretty rough. But like, it's not the worst anime I've seen because like at least it's short. It's not like 12 episodes, 20 minutes each, which is typically what the average season for an anime runs is about 12 episodes, 20 minutes each. At least this one was only 19 minutes of like goofiness. I'd probably even watch this if it was like 12 episodes of this. It's just that bad. It's good, you know what I mean? But there's some other shows in here that I think are actually worse than this one, so I'm going to get into that. All right, guys, we're on to the next one. This is my second lowest rated show. The Promised Neverland. I gave this a 3 out of 10, which I think is actually pretty fucking high for how bad they ended the show. Like, anime is like notorious for having absolutely terrible endings to their shows. But like this show was like even worse than like the average anime. Like, so in the beginning it wasn't too bad, and then they kind of like skip. Like I think they skipped like a few years to go to another portion. I don't really remember it. I mean, when did this come out? In like almost 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. So I don't really remember. I watched it as it aired, but like basically they skip around a lot. Just to I guess they wanted to end like who made this Cloverworks. I guess they wanted to end it in like one season, like just skip all the other crap in the manga. That's what they basically shows off as their mangas, their comics and stuff most of the time. Sometimes it's their originals, um, but they basically I guess skipped so many chapters of the manga, their source material, and like it shows, man. It's really rough. The first like half of the season, I'm like, okay, this ain't bad. But you're going off a show, The Promised Neverland. Season 1, you're going off that one like at such high expectations, right? Like the first season was one of the best shows like in general I've watched. Definitely one of the best anime I've watched. But then they just come and they just it's all right. First 6 episodes I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. But like then it just fucking absolutely goes to shit immediately, and the ending is just the icing on that cake, man. The ending is literally like I think it was like 5 or 4 minutes of just slideshows, bro. Just slideshow picture to picture. I'm gonna show you the ending right now. I am not joking that this is the actual ending of the show. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can't believe they actually ended it like that. That was pretty rough. So yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I think that even is a little bit high. I could honestly take a 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10. But this is definitely not up there with, and it shows. I mean, this show only have 5 out of 10. I think that's high. But you're coming off a show like this, like got high ratings. I gave it a 9. I think I'm pretty strict or pretty harsh when it comes to my ratings of shows. But like a 9 out of 10 I gave it, and like it was really good. It had a very like psychological and kind of thriller-esque type of and the characters were good too. Like everything about season 1 was good, and they completely ruined it in the second season, especially the second half of the second season. So yeah, this show is one of the worst shows I've ever watched. I've never seen an ending quite like that. That was so freaking bad. Like that was rough. That one was rough. All right, guys, I'm on to my third lowest show I've rated, which I wouldn't really consider this my third lowest. I think the next show I'm going to talk about is probably worse than this. But like, what is this? Magical Senpai. Um, I can't believe I actually watched this show. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't. I came in. I don't know what I was expecting when I came in this show, but was not what I got. So they do it in like 12-minute like kind of shorts. So I think it's the only reason I finished it because it was only 12 minutes. But it's like 12 minutes of like I don't know. Nothing was really progressed in the show. I mean, like nothing really important happens. It's just this like chick that tries to do magic. She can't really get it down, so she's like the captain or leader of the club. They have like a magic club, and she's a leader of it, and she can't do magic. But the guy who just joined for the heck of it, I can't remember exactly why he joined the club, but he can do magic just fine, but she can't, and she gets all frustrated. She kind of just does that same kind of loop every episode for like 12 minutes apiece.
Okay, here, but do not cut my money in half.
This is precious money that my kohai depends on. What a tragedy if it got lost. Behold, a clean cut right through the middle. But when I look inside the two halves of the envelope, miraculously...
The bill wasn't in there, right? My money's okay, right?
Miraculously, the 1,000-yen bill has appeared in my wallet.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch the second season of the show because I really just don't care. All right. I mean, I guess if you like some like big tits, that's kind of like the anime way. Like, you know, if you like that kind of content, I guess you could enjoy this. But me personally, I couldn't get with it. I only finished it because it was 12 episodes. And I was like, what the heck? Might as well see this to the end. And I did. And I wouldn't really say I regretted it, but I wouldn't really waste my time on a show like this. You know, at least with The Promised Neverland and Hamitsu no Mars. Those two shows were, for one, Hamitsu no Mars of Destruction is you know, just 19 minutes, so it's not that bad. But you know, Promised Neverland, you coming off of a great first season, so the second season was just like a disappointment. This show was just like not good throughout, and it might be a little controversial because this one has a 6.4 out of 10 on my anime list. But like, I couldn't get with it, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe there's something in this show that y'all can appreciate, but for me, I really just couldn't enjoy it as much maybe as a lot of other people might. I'm just not even into magic that much either, so I just kind of tried this out of a whim, and can't say I was disappointed, but I definitely will not watch the second season of this show, and it's one of my worst. Maybe a little 3 out of 10 is a little harsh for it, but that's why I put it, and it's one of my worst shows. But I think this next show is actually going to be worse than this one, so we'll go into the next one and see what y'all think. All right, guys, I don't think this show is going to be much of a hot take either. Or not much as a hot take as the last one, but this show, Isekai Cheat Magician, for some reason, I don't know, I guess they put all their fucking budget into advertising this show and marketing it, I guess. I wouldn't even say marketing, just mainly advertising the show. Because I saw this show everywhere, and I knew it was bad. I could tell just by the trailer that this show was going to be bad. So I was like, you know, what the heck? I'm kind of wanting to, like, when I was looking at this show, I was like, I kind of want to see a bad show and just kind of like make fun of it. Maybe it's like So Bad It's Good. It is not. It is not So Bad It's Good. Do not watch this show. Don't waste your time. This is the most boring and just uninteresting. And then in the fight scenes, like, there's no animation, man. There is no animation.
顔を見て気持ち悪いだなんて本当に好き。私もミュウラに会えてよかった。
At all. I remember watching this. I remember when I watched this show. I remember it fucking vividly. Just how boring and uninteresting it is. And it's 23 minutes per episode. You're watching 23 minutes for 12 episodes of this shit. Like, I couldn't watch it like more than like 2 episodes per time because I'm like drained after the second episode. Like, I'm drained after the first episode. The second episode it's made it worse. It is so bad. It is so boring. There's no animation, bro. You might as well have a slideshow presentation. Because that's going to have as much animation as this show did. I don't know what Encourage Films, like, what they've made. I mean, this is their most popular show. But I don't know, man. Stick to Slice of Life or something. Slice of Life or something, man. Because the action scenes were terrible. Everything, the effects they had looked terrible. There was no, like, I don't even remember the plot of the show. I think the guy was just like they were like, oh, we got to fight the big bad organizations and stuff. Like, the most generic plot ever. And like, oh my god, it was so bad. Then they kill off one of the characters, and like and this character was only introduced like 2 episodes ago, and she's done nothing the whole time. Then they kill her off, and like they expect it's supposed to be like this big emotional scene, and like who cares? Like I already know this chick's name at this point. Like I don't care. They try to have some like kind of dark, deep plot, and it just doesn't work. Nothing about this show works. It is 23 minutes, 12 episodes of pure nothing. Like, do not watch this show. Do not waste your time. This is like, I think in terms of like everything I've gone over so far, this show is the worst, strictly because of just how uninteresting and boring it was. No animation, no good fight scenes, no good characters, no character development, nothing. There's 12 episodes of nothing, guys. Literally nothing. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. It's trash. Moving on. All right, guys, we're back with another one. This one might be a bit controversial as well. The first Dragon Ball Z movie, man. This show, like, this movie is like by far the worst movie I've watched in an anime. I've never been the biggest fan of Dragon Ball Z. Like, I liked it as a kid, but I tried rewatching it recently. I just don't think it holds up. It's pretty boring, as you know, and they so much filler. But that's what you get out of these long anime. Like to keep up with the manga, they kind of put these filler episodes in so that you know you ain't waiting because they do it a week to week thing. So like, and to stay behind the manga and not and they do filler. So that's Dragon Ball. But we're not talking about the series of Dragon Ball Z. We're talking about this movie, and this movie was just rough. Every bit of it. You start out with like Piccolo. It's been a while since I watched this, so I'm just trying to like kind of snowball. Not really snowball, but just kind of think about what happened in this show. And like, it kind of starts out with like Piccolo getting absolutely murked, and everyone thinks Piccolo is dead, but like Kami's still alive. If you watch Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, you know if Piccolo dies, so does Kami. But so why is Kami still alive? Even Kami, I think, says that Piccolo is dead. Lo and behold, Piccolo actually doesn't die. You got this guy. His name is Garlic Jr. I think it's the one with Garlic Jr. in it. Yeah, Dead Zone. So Garlic Jr.'s in this one. They kidnap Gohan for the Dragon Ball. He wishes for immortality, which is actually kind of cool because he's like I think the only character in the show that actually gets immortality. If I might be wrong, but obviously it's not actually canon because it's just a movie. But he wishes for immortality. He gets it, and then obviously Goku's got to rescue his son. Yada yada yada. All kinds of like bullcrap leading up to the big end fight. So they're fighting Garlic. Like the part that gets me the most about this movie is when they think they finished off Garlic Jr. Like, oh, he must be dead, but they know they can sense energy, so they know he should know that he ain't dead. There's so much like plot holes in this show, so they should know he's not dead. They killed Garlic Jr. or allegedly killed Garlic Jr. and then Piccolo and Goku just go into scrap mode. Like they fucking fight each other on sight, and then Garlic Jr.'s like, I'm not dead. And fucking, then they get their shit kicked in. And then at the end, it's up to Gohan. It's kind of like with the Raditz scene where like Gohan unlocks his like potential and sends Garlic Jr.'s ass into the dead zone where he dies allegedly, I think. But I think he actually comes back in the show, so he didn't actually die in that scene. But yeah, the show was definitely I haven't watched all the Dragon Ball Z movies, but of the ones I've watched, this one's definitely the worst. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I think even if you shut your brain completely off, like you're in snooze mode, dude, you still would see the fucking absolute plot holes and like stuff that just doesn't make sense in this movie. I don't even know why they made this, but it was pretty rough. And yeah, this one is might be a little controversial, but I think this is one of the worst anime content I've ever watched. But I will watch more. So I kind of want to go through like all the bad shows I've watched. And or go through some bad shows and kind of get my opinions on those as well. But in terms of like Dragon Ball Z content, is from what I've watched, I think it's even worse than GT like as a whole. But anyway, I'm rambling on. This movie sucks in my opinion. It's like the worst anime movie I've ever watched. So there's that. All right, this one's gonna be kind of a weird one, but honestly, I don't think this show is all that terrible. Like, it's not terribly bad, but it's pretty fucking bad. We're talking about Redo of a Healer. This is like more of on like the shows I wouldn't watch on the living room TV. You know what I mean? This show gets pretty freaking dark. So the whole premise about this one, I remember it kind of vividly. The whole premise of this was that the main character, our guy, Kaoru, Teru. I can't pronounce words, guys. But he basically he gets mistreated by this chick right here, and basically he's out for revenge. So he like resets his life basically somehow. I don't remember exactly how. And his whole life goal is like to get revenge on all the people who did him wrong, starting with this chick, and it just gets pretty weird and dark pretty quickly. Like you think he eventually like, I think there's a thing he did where he made his like fucking Johnson bigger, and like and like he basically tells this girl to fucking get down on it, or he's gonna stick this like heated metal rod. Like, just if you're curious, just go watch it, guys. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd watch like the first couple episodes of it, and that's it. Because like I swear, I went back through the show. All right, there is a sex scene. Like it's not like a hardcore sex scene. You don't see anything. You just kind of like, but there's a you kind of like just see him doing it. But like there's a sex scene in every episode of this show. I'm talking all 12 episodes. They just it's like they sneak it in sometimes. They kind of see was like, oh, okay, here we are. You know what I mean? Like there was one where he was fucking two chicks at the same time. He was fucking this chick and this chick at the same time. How is that even possible? He's clapping two different sets of cheeks at the same time. Like honestly, it was kind of inspirational. But for real though, all joking aside, this show was the action honestly wasn't too bad. Like I thought the action in the show wasn't terrible. Wasn't like whoa, you know what I mean? But it was good. But like I couldn't get past like all the sex scenes in every episode, and they were so poorly animated. It's like that like hentai in general is just poorly animated, but this one was like terrible. You don't even get to see anything. Maybe like if there was like on DVD or something, you'd probably see something. But when I watched it, there wasn't really anything you get to see. He's kind of like, yeah, get it, and that was it. All you saw was like his upper body. But yeah, he basically made these chicks fall in love with him by like either giving them like fall in love potions or like hypnotizing them, and then he claps their cheeks over and over again. He does it for every person he's ever done it wrong, except for this wolf chick. He just kind of claps her cheeks for no reason. He's like, I think the thing was like he was like, yeah, my nut will make you more powerful. So like it's just weird, guys. If you're curious about it, check it out. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're curious, go ahead. I don't even know why I watched this show. I was kind of like, people said just how bad it was, and I was kind of like, maybe I'll check it out. And I ended up finishing it just to see how many times this guy claps and how he claps these girls' cheeks, bro. It's kind of weird, but I was curious. Curiosity kills the cat. And in this case, curiosity made me finish the show, and I did. So, guilty as charged, I guess. But yeah, this one was pretty rough. Not terrible, not as bad as the ones I've done before this, but it is pretty terrible. Not gonna lie. All right, I know damn well that this one is gonna be controversial. We're talking about To Love Ru Darkness Second, specifically. Like I wouldn't want to say specifically, maybe specifically this one. I don't remember which season it was, but I think just To Love Ru as a whole kind of fell off after the first season. Not gonna lie. Like, I just remember in this season specifically, like and maybe even the first season of To Love Ru Darkness, that like the whole thing was this guy, whatever his fucking name was, Rito. All right, his whole gag, and they do this every chance they got, was he would fall near a girl, it'd fall under their skirt, and they'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck, man," and just slap the shit out of them, like every chance they got. Every chance they got, man. It was the same. Every episode, the same gag. It's not funny. It was funny. It wasn't funny the first time they did it, and it's sure as hell not funny the fucking 20th time they do it. Like, I don't know. that just made me so mad watching the show. It's like, oh, here we go again with this motherfucker. I didn't rewatch this, man. I'll rewatch the show. I watched it twice. I watched this shit twice, man. It still gets old. Even when I expect it, it's still terrible. It's so bad. Like, I couldn't look past it. I think the whole premise is like this chick. She's actually like some kind of alien or android. I can't remember exactly what she is, but she gets all crazy and like she's threatening to destroy the world. And then Rito, the main character, has to pretty much get her to fall in love with him. And like he does it by falling in her panties, I guess, and then eating her out in the process. So yeah, I can't, the whole series of To Love Ru, I just can't fuck with, man. I think Rito is just a boring ass character. I mean, that's what they do with a lot of harem protagonists. Basically, if you don't know, a harem is like when a guy gets a whole bunch of different girls to fall in love with him. So he basically has like multiple girlfriends. That's not even like what they do. They pretty much get the most dense and dumb protagonist, the male protagonist, as possible, and get all these girls to fall in love with them for basically no reason. Like I think the main love interest, where's she at? This girl Haruna. I think the only reason she likes him was because he watered some fucking flowers, and then I think like a bully or something like destroyed the flowers, and everyone blamed it on him. And like she was like, he would never do that. He's too nice. So she fell in love with him. Like it doesn't make any sense. And they get this boring and like most dense protagonist, has all his girls in love with him, but he doesn't have any girlfriends. He's just like, you can't love me. You can't. I remember like one part. I think it was season 1. That went his friend. He's not on the cast, but his friend wanted to get with Lala, which is like the main like chick, and he was like, no, you can't do that. Only I can like. Or no, it wasn't her. It was Haruna. But he wanted to get with. He wanted to have both of them or something like this guy did, Rito. He wanted to get with like both of them. But then his friend was like, he wanted to get her so he can get out of something. But he was like, no, man, you can't take my girl.
お前しかいないんだ。頼む、サイレンジ、俺と付き合ってくれ。
なんだかよくわからないけど、私でよければ。
おいと、それはダメだ。クリストどうして邪魔すんだ。サイレンジは私でよければって。冗談でもそれだけは絶対ダメだ。
Yeah, he can't confess. Like I think like the main thing in season 1 was like he was trying to confess to her, but he could never do it, or something would happen while he tries to do it, so he could never do it. But he's like the main love. She's like the main love interest, and he can't confess to her. It's so terrible. I just hate harems, guys. Like straight up, they're the most boring protagonists ever that they put in these harems, and like this show specifically is just like terrible when it comes to that kind of stuff. But he gets all these chicks to fall in love with him for like no reason, like the dumbest reasons possible, and he can never get with any of them because whatever. And then this chick wants him to do it, but he's like, nah, man, nah, I don't want to. But anyway, yeah, I could rant about this all day, but I'm just gonna leave it here. I don't like this show at all. I've rewatched it twice, or I've rewatched it once. I still don't like it. I don't really see the appeal of shows like these, but maybe y'all can find something about it that's good. But this show, these 2 seasons specifically, part 1 and 2 of To Love Ru Darkness, just had that same gag. It just got old really fast, and I just don't like it. It's not the worst show I've watched, but I don't like it at all. All right, guys. Next one's Sword Art Online, which honestly might be a little bit of a hot take. I don't really know. Some people hate this show, and some people love this show. It's kind of like, this is like the grandfather of the isekai genre. So isekai is kind of like you're teleported to another world, basically. And this was like one of the originals, like the founding fathers of that genre for anime. And now it's kind of like overused. I think everyone can agree on that. It's kind of overused. You get like 10 isekai per season. But Sword Art Online, it starts off pretty good. Like, I'll admit, it starts off pretty good. I'm like, damn, okay, this is pretty interesting. I think I've rewatched this like twice. But then you get into like the latter stages of the show, and it's just bad with Asuna getting kidnapped. And I swear, every season they have some kind of I don't understand. I don't know if I can even say that word, but you know what I mean. Like, they have some kind of character that's like very weird and basically sexually harasses these women for like no reason. I don't even know what these motherfuckers' motives are.
いい香りだ。
But basically, when I start out, they go transport into what is it called? Or it's called Sword Art Online. I'm dumb, but they get transported to Sword Art Online, and then they're trapped in there. Then they got to fight out. Then they became like, well, maybe life here ain't so bad, and we should just give up. But then eventually they don't give up, and I also think Asuna. It might be a little bit of a hot take here. I think Asuna is like the most boring ass character in the entire show, and like also is one, and Kirito is like one of those guys that's like attracts all these chicks too. He's like, it's like not a harem, but it's like basically is, because every chick falls in love with him on first sight. But basically, Asuna is his girl. I think she's pretty freaking boring. But basically, he finishes the game, and then like she's trapped inside another game, and he has to go rescue her. And it's like this weird dude. It's like, I don't know. The second half just absolutely sucks, man. Like it just sucks. They did the same thing in season 2. I thought the Gun Gale Online part of season 2 was pretty good, and then they get transported to another world. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they go to another world. They have to do something else there, and every time they do that, it's like worse. It gets worse. It wasn't good in the first place. Luckily, Alicization, the 3rd season, is actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed Alicization a little bit, but then there's like this incest deal with like his cousin that actually likes him a lot too. Like literally, I'm telling you, every chick in this show wants Kirito's D. Like, you know, like literally every character. And then he goes to save Asuna. He does it. And I think also another character that I absolutely hate is Yui. Yui's just a crap character. I'm not gonna go into it, but for one, she's annoying as fuck, and she's just a crap character in general. Can't stand Yui. And yeah, so this show, decent in the first half, second half sucks. Same with season 2. I'm just lumping both those into one little part here. But yeah, both these shows just kind of stink in my opinion. And I think Sword Art Online 2 is slightly better, because I think Gun Gale Online is better than Sword Art Online. Like the first half of those shows, like I think the first half of season 2 is better than the first half of season 1. That's just my personal opinion. I can see going either way. Man, you gotta give it to it. It is like it's pretty original in what it did. But like, man, the latter half of these seasons, I can't give it more than like a 4 out of 10. Man, it's just I don't like it. I don't like any of the characters. I don't even like Kirito that much, and I don't like any other of the characters. Like the first few episodes were fine, but after that, it just kind of falls off hard. And I think they do that for every season except for Alicization. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope my takes didn't piss you off or anything. Just know this is my opinion. Y'all could enjoy any of these shows, and I'd be perfectly okay with it. I just don't understand how y'all like these shows. But yeah, these are just my opinions. I wanted to try something a little different on the channel, kind of give my opinions on the shows. I might do something similar for like live action movies, because I've watched a lot of movies and I kind of want to give my opinions on those. But yeah, as in terms of anime, I'll probably watch some like more bad shows and kind of explain why I think these shows are bad. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video again. If you want to see more content like this, let me know, and I'll make some more. But this one's just kind of me ranting a little bit and just kind of giving my opinions on some anime. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in another one. Peace.